Welcome to today's episode of That BS Podcast. Today we are talking about reclaiming my power, my pace. This is day 32 of Learning How to Flow in Midlife 55-day series, 55 days of giveaways. This unapologetic 55-day series is a midlife movement for women ready to break the cycles, rewrite beliefs, and boldly shift into what's next. Using the F.L.O.W framework, face the unbelief, let go of the lie, own your story, and win your next chapter. I will deliver daily truths, storytelling, and soul work that challenge you to confront what's keeping you small in order to reclaim the life that fits you now. On today's episode, Reclaiming My Power, My Pace, we're talking about a grounded and graceful episode where we will explore the beauty of moving through life at your own divine pace. I will break down how hustle culture, comparison, and internalized pressure rob us of peace, and how midlife invites us to slow down, recalibrate, and reclaim control. This episode is a permission slip to honor your timing, trust your rhythm, and move with intention, not urgency. And as a reminder, this is celebrating my 55th birthday, which is coming up on August 10th. Cue the confetti, somebody. And I am giving away a lesson. And each day I'm giving away a lesson in one of my signature courses, Your Midlife, Your Way, a journey to an unapologetically authentic self. And since this is day 32, I'm giving away lesson 32, which is module 4, Love Yourself Reflection. Here is the QR code a little bit bigger for you so that you can go there to get your freebie. Yes, freebie, 100% free. So excited for you to download that. So let's jump into reclaiming my power, my pace. Reclaiming my power, my pace. I'm so glad you joined me. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I am Dr. Lisa. I am the belief system boss, not just that, ordained clergywoman. And I help women in midlife make this transition a little bit more smoothly. There's so much that I mean, I'm looking all over these internet streets, right? And I see a number of women talking about midlife, but there aren't very many that look like me. There aren't very many that are single. And so I want to talk to those of us who find ourselves in the position of being single in our 50s and beyond, of being in the place where we're having to make decisions and choices for ourselves. We don't have somebody else to fall back on. There is no, we have no sponsors, right? The decisions and choices that we make, we have to bear the brunt of those. For those of us that find ourselves as caregivers for family members and so on and so forth, just in a state of existing where we're trying to find our new normal, right? Transitioning into this midlife phase as our authentic self so that we can enjoy this new chapter of our journey. So today we're talking about reclaiming my power, my pace, using the F.L.O.W framework. So, F.L.O.W, we know what it is by now. This is day 32. Let's start with F, face the unbelief. At this stage of our journey, we have to confront the fear that we're behind or running out of time. Confronting the fear that we're behind or running out of time. We are neither of those two things, right? We're not behind. We're right where we're supposed to be, where we need to be, and we're not out of time. Now, full disclosure, I fully admit and understand and acknowledge and accept that there is more time in our rearview mirror than there is ahead of us. That is true, but we're not running out of time. This is actually a beautiful time for us. I like to say that our this is not a midlife crisis. This is our crown. This is our crown and glory. Bullet number two is acknowledging where you've adopted other people's timelines as truth. Acknowledging where you've adapted other people's timelines as truth. So, for example, I'm coming up on 55. I'm single. I didn't think that I would be single at this stage in my journey. I had a whole different picture of what I thought midlife was going to look like with my partner, with my companion, my life partner, and the traveling and all the things, right? But it hasn't happened that way. And so just because it hasn't happened, is that something I really want for myself? And am I thinking about it because other people are talking about it? Is that really my timeline, right? And the final bullet is facing the belief that faster means better. That faster means better. We are at the stage of our journey where we don't have to rush to do anything. Okay, we've already done the rush. We've already done the grind. We've already done the busy, right? We're at the stage where we need to begin to learn how to enjoy the fruits of our labor. We are no longer in this fast-paced thing. We're not the rat race anymore. We and I don't want to say it from the perspective that we're at the finish line either, but we're in a different journey. We're not even in the race anymore. We're on the journey. L in the flow framework, let go of the lie. Bullet number one, releasing the myth that you have to prove your productivity. Done. Let that go. Bullet number two. Look, I don't even have to say any more about that, right? Number two, letting go of internalized hustle and the glorification of busy. Now, here, let me say this. I am far from bored. I have people often say, "Well, Lisa, what about this? So you don't get bored, and consider that so you don't, so you're not bored." Or somebody will call and say, "Girl, I know you're bored." I, Lisa Denise Lewis, I am far from being bored, right? But I'm also not in this hustle mindset either, right? That's not it. I have a very extremely full plate. My cup runneth over. I have more to do in a day than I can get done in a day. I'm not bored. Okay. Third and final bullet, dismantling the belief that your worth is tied to speed. That goes back to the thing. At this stage, we can pace ourselves. We can generate our list of things to do and just pace ourselves. Oh, own your own story. Bullet number one, naming the ways you've moved in survival mode. My God, today, on that, I can drop the mic. And this episode is over. Owning our own story involves us naming the ways that we've moved in survival mode. When we are honest with ourselves, we're facing the unbelief, we're letting go of the lie. We have to be honest that a lot of the time that we have spent up until this point, on some level, has been in survival mode, doing what we have to do because it's what we have to do when we have to do it. We have to name the ways that we've been doing that, and because we don't have to exist like that anymore. Bullet number two, oh my God, owning our story, honoring your need to rest, for rest, reflection, and realignment. Let me say that again. Honoring our need for rest, reflection, and realignment. Ooh. Running on the treadmill. And when you finish, sometimes you just stand there with your arms hanging over, just like this. At least I do, right? And I'm just like, just breathing. One, because I'm happy I'm finished. Two, because I'm happy I even did it. And three, on some level, I feel re-energized and reinvigorated for having done it. I have had to learn how to honor the need for rest, reflection, and realignment. When something is not jiving with my sha-na-na, with my soul, and it's not flowing the way that it needs to flow, something has to shift. Honoring when something needs to be realigned, when something needs to come off my plate, when something needs to come on my plate, and when I just need to push the plate aside altogether and walk away. Third bullet for owning our story: embracing your unique rhythm as sacred and strategic. Embracing our unique rhythm as sacred and strategic. This is an opportunity where we are getting to relearn ourselves, talk to ourselves, spend time with ourselves about what we like, what we enjoy, how we want to show up at this stage and phase of our lives. Which strategy, which strategic approach do we want to take? And honoring that rhythm, whatever that rhythm is for you, right? This episode is all about the permission slip for that. W, win at the next chapter. Bullet number 1, moving with peace, not pressure. Woo-saw. For those of us in my age group, we can remember relax, relate, release, right? Moving with peace, not pressure. What kind of pressure are we going to move with at this stage? Get off that pressure bus. Bullet number 2, win at the next chapter, is creating a life that matches your values, not the world's pace. I'll run that back. Creating a life that matches our values, not the world's pace. We have done the proving. We have got stakes in the ground. We have got houses built. We have got former staff members. We've got the accolades. Lord have mercy. We got the accolades. We've got the degrees. We've got the certifications. We got it all. Okay. But now we are creating a life that matches our values, not the world's pace. We are no longer listening to the world standard of how they feel like we need to show up, or the world standard of what midlife is supposed to look like. This is not about the world's pace. We're telling the world, hey, world, this is what this whole 55 days of learning how to flow in midlife is about. We are showing up differently and say, hey, world, hey, knock, knock. This is me, unapologetically authentic. This is who I am, and this is how I'm showing up. You now have to line up with me. And the final bullet for win at the next chapter is walking in power, purpose, and personal alignment. Walking in power, purpose, and personal alignment. If it's not clicking, we're not doing it. It is done, it's finished, right? The call to action, aside from me giving you your permission slip to reclaim your power and your pace at this journey in midlife, is number 1, answering question number 1. Where have you been rushing to prove instead of pausing to align? Where have you been rushing to prove instead of pausing to align? Question number 2, I always have at least 2 questions, right? To meditate on and journal your response is, what does moving at my own pace feel like? What does moving at my own pace feel like? And so the reason why I'm asking the question of what does it feel like, okay, not what it looks like, is because we're tapping into our spiritual self. Remember, that was one of the other lessons that was released in on one of the other days, is loving your spiritual self, right? This is what are we feeling on the inside, because knowing that we're out of alignment, the feeling of being misaligned or out of alignment starts in here. It starts in our spirit and our soul internally before it manifests externally. Hence why the question is, what does moving at your own pace feel like? Because answering that question, once we know what it feels like, the moment we are out of alignment, that feeling will change. It will shift, and we'll recognize it quicker so that we don't continue on that path, and then the misalignment will manifest itself externally, right? I hear you. You're asking the question, what does an external manifestation look like? Okay. So when our schedules are too stacked and we're now moving at our own pace, meaning we don't have 50 things to do in a day, we may have 3 things that we want to get accomplished that day, right? But because we haven't said no to the right things so that we have space on the schedule to say yes to the right things, those 3 things turn into 6. Now we're not in alignment, right? Because now we're back to the grind. Now we're back to the race. Now we're back to the pressure. So we have to revisit the calendar, revisit the list of things to do, and say, okay, I can't get all 3 of these things done today. That's not going to happen. Not without me, my back pain coming, or migraine coming, or my shoulders tensing up, or what is another thing? Upset stomach and not being able to eat, and stressed and not being able to sleep. Because now I have 6 things when I started off as 3. And because now the external manifestation is showing up in my body and my attitude and how I'm responding to individuals, right? You see where I'm going? That's what it feels like. Whereas if once I feel it coming on, I realign, take some things off, make some calls, and let some folks know, hey, this is not going to get done today. This is moving to tomorrow or 2 days from now, whatever the case may be, in order to stay at your pace. Move in your flow, in your strategy, moving in peace. Share this episode with someone who's ready to stop running and start reclaiming. I appreciate that. And if you would consider, as I mentioned before, liking this episode, sharing it, and subscribing to my YouTube channel at the BS Boss. I love what I'm doing and sharing this information with you. And I would love for you to share it with others because somebody else needs it. Also, I would love to grow my YouTube channel as well. So we need to get the word out that there is a way for us to flow in midlife. Our midlife is not a crisis, it's our crown. It's not looking like our mamas, it's definitely not looking like our grandmothers. We want to embrace this stage of our journey with everything that we have, and just get every morsel out of this beautiful phase and stage of life. Don't forget to grab your freebie. It's lesson 32 in the Your Midlife Your Way, a journey to an unapologetically authentic self course. Here is the QR code. just in case you weren't able to grab it soon or earlier in the broadcast in today's episode. And I look forward to seeing you on day 32. Have a great one.